Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP. But before we fully jump on into this video, I do just want to ask for all those XRP holders out there, how have you guys been enjoying the overall price action in the market? Yes, we are seeing quite a bit of relief, but I will say there is quite a bit of warning signs out there. We will address them, we will talk about them, and we will also talk about the XRP volume that we are starting to see kind of flood in. But also hit that like button if you guys have been enjoying the overall price action. And for those out there that are not subscribed to the channel, which is over 50% of you, by the end of this video, if you guys do learn something new, maybe you find the content interesting, whatever the case may be, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button and turn notifications on to never miss a future update. But with that being said, we have the CPI print, right? 6.5%. By now, you guys probably already know, we did see an incredible gain in most of the markets. We did see a few assets still kind of down a little bit, but the market didn't react in like an incredible way immediately. But throughout the day, we started to kind of see a little bit of some nice price action. Bitcoin ended up hitting about like 19K, somewhere within like the 19K region. I do believe that Bitcoin is a little bit overcooked. We will address this. We will talk about it in this video. But I also do want to talk to you guys a little bit about the methodology of CPI. So we actually do see over here from Stock Talk Weekly, they are posting important. Today was the last CPI print that will be calculated by the current methodology. February CPI print will be the first report based on the new methodology. CPI was formerly based on the 2 years of consumption data. Now CPI will be based on a single year of data. For context, 2022 CPI prints were based on consumption in 2019 and 2020. 2023 CPI prints will be based off consumption in 2021 alone. I want you guys to understand that when we focus on what is going to happen next, we are starting to see CPI prints being this sort of event that changes everything, right? We did see most of the futures and most of the stocks in crypto itself kind of pump beforehand, which we always see. I mean, even going back to FOMC meetings, right? Usually the FOMC meetings lead to a major push in the market, and it's usually a fake out bull trap that really kind of results in a major pullback. What's different about this time is everybody thinks that we're, fully bottomed out, that we're about to pump out, that, we're going to 100K, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. There's still a lot of levels to Bitcoin that we need to surpass in order to have that full-on confirmation. I'm not saying that's not confirmed. I'm just saying we don't have that significant push above supply right now to really kind of confirm that. But things are getting very, very interesting for a lot of these assets. XRP is one of them. So I've been actually focused on XRP. This is on the daily span. So you guys do see that liquidation hunt down here, which, really kind of pushed to the bottom of about almost 30 cents. And then we kind of just trailed sideways, and now we eventually got our nice little breakout. The best part about this, and I do apologize if you guys do hear my dogs in the background, the good thing about this is that RSI isn't yet oversold or overbought, sorry, and we are starting to see a heightened increase in volume down here. And this is on the daily span. Let's go check the 3-day span. So we don't have the volume down here, but we do have some of the volume up here. We could also add on balance volume real quick, just the regular indicator here. So we are still seeing like some sideways momentum here on the 3-day span, nothing too crazy. Here's the 5-day span. It's more so sideways momentum. We do have a little bit of negative volume flow here on the 5-day span at, again, resistance. This is like a pretty heavy resistance area. We've been trailing below this EMA for a while. Recently, yes, we did end up breaking up above it, but ultimately we ended up dropping below it. A lot of altcoins are sitting in the same exact position where they are sort of in a heavy spot of resistance, while everyone is getting peak bullish and, thinking that like the bull run's back on and all this kind of stuff, which again, I don't mean to be negative around this. I'm just saying we don't have that data yet. There's still a lot of levels for not only XRP, we're talking about Bitcoin, we're talking about the global crypto market. There's a lot of levels still for us to kind of surpass before we have that full-on confirmation. But I will say this, one thing that I have been noticing around this market is we are starting to see that sort of area of, okay, well, now we're at make or break levels. And I do think that Bitcoin is at those levels, but I want to really kind of say one thing. We still are seeing A lot of warning signs. I know that this is idiotic to use just Jim Cramer as an indicator, but he has been the perfect inverse trader in this entire market. So whatever he's saying, whatever he's doing, do the opposite. And what we are seeing here is Jim Cramer says charts suggest the market could rally for the next couple of months. Now, again, I'm not saying that we're going to see a dark couple months ahead. I'm just saying usually when we do see Jim Cramer bullish, it's usually bearish and vice versa. But one thing that I want to really kind of focus on is Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, I know that you guys don't like me talking about Bitcoin, but you got to remember that XRP itself is not in a utility-driven market. We are still very well in a Bitcoin-driven market. We're still in that speculation market where Bitcoin is really kind of becoming the big major name yet again, because what we usually do see is a bear market that leads into a Bitcoin bull run, and then the money from Bitcoin trickles down into all of these assets like XRP, and so many other ones, right? So we're looking at Bitcoin, and we actually do see over here from Mr. Parabolic, and this is I Liquidate Bots. That's his @ name. When you see reasons I'm still hedging short heavy is price action is still perfectly channeling with larger channel right into major supply. Again, that's what I was trying to reiterate, the supply zone. This is a 2019 top and local retest with all indicators way OB and corrective sub count. Trust it's me, the bull. I want to be wrong, but haven't seen evidence yet. And yes, when we really kind of look at things happening around the charts, I want you all to understand that when we look at on balance volume, when we look at things happening around this entire space, we are starting to see a lot of people getting very, very bullish in overbought levels, this is why the indicators are way overbought, and we're starting to see like the RSI peaking way above overbought levels. It's completely cooked. We're in the supply zone. We are in the warning supply zone, by the way, because this is macro resistance, and everyone is getting very, very bullish. And he's actually quoting Encrypt 30, where he's saying, not think your WXY was potentially A of an ABC wave 1 in a leading diagonal up to 30K region with 4 waves of 333 left to come. I've only recently started digging deep in Elliott wave properly, so correct me if impossible, but played out on my path up to now. And this is from Encrypt 30 for you guys out there that are not a part of the free Discord. I highly suggest you look into it. But I do believe that, right now is the time to really be cautious, because me personally, I'm looking at this market, and I do believe that we are in some very large overbought areas, some of the largest overbought areas that we haven't seen in a very long time. In fact, I actually looked at this chart recently from Dread Bongo, and I was very, very surprised on just how crazy the RSI actually was compared to the macro, right, where we were at 65K and we're at those overbought levels before we start to see a major decline. So I am focused right now on what's happening around this market. And we are starting to see a little bit of catalyst events behind, an overbought level where we start to see a massive dump, and that is the SEC. We just seen the SEC announce that today they charged Genesis Global Capital, LLC, and Gemini Trust Company, LLC, for the unregistered offer and sale of securities to retail investors through the Gemini Earn crypto asset lending program. Remember what I've said, we're starting to see the SEC going after these big exchanges. Of course, they failed to go after FTX, but now we are starting to see them going after, Genesis and Gemini. And these are some of the, again, these are two very, very large exchanges that are well known in crypto. It's only a matter of time. And I do think that these are great indicators that are telling us, like, listen, yes, Bitcoin is overcooked. Is Bitcoin going to go down to an all-time low again or anything like that? Or not an all-time low, but a low for this cycle, and a new low. We're talking below the 15K region. Are we going to see that? It's questionable, right? We definitely have to watch and focus on a few things, but I'm more so betting on around 16 to 17K, 16.5 to 17K being tested, which that's totally enough to bring a lot of these altcoins down severely. We'll probably see XRP back down to about 32 cents, but we are focused on that right now because I do think that everyone should be paying attention to what the SEC is doing and what we are starting to see around this market, because there is quite a bit of warning signs. And we do see over here as well, this is why Gary Gensler won't go on a show like Making Money with CV Payne. Charles is likely to bring up something us truth seekers call facts. And this is from John E. Deaton, and he's quoting Digital Asset Investor. And we do see time put the SEC in check Congress, defund them, abolish them, fire Gary Gensler. And he's quoting, or he's taking a bunch of people. This is about a 3-minute long video. Listen closely, and then I will address a few things after the fact.
The FTX case, when did the SEC get involved? They filed a lawsuit against FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried on behalf of 30 venture capitalists. So who are they protecting? They're protecting those VCs who risk money all the time as a part of their business model. They didn't file a case on behalf of the retail customer of FTX. And so they have completely abandoned the individual investor. They've abandoned accredited investors. You go back to when he was the chairman of the CFTC, MF Global happened under his watch. And what was his excuse? His excuse, Ray, was that he couldn't figure out how to access his work email from home. So I just want people to think about this. This is Gary Gensler who said that. Yes, Gary Gensler testified at Congress, right, that when this was all happening, he couldn't access his email. Ray, he's considered a child prodigy, and he was he was the youngest partner in the history of Goldman Sachs. The guy is a smart guy. Everybody says his problem is that he's always the smartest guy in the room, right? But this child prodigy, the youngest partner in the history of Goldman Sachs, couldn't figure out his work email. And that's why, blah, blah, blah. So that his integrity and his credibility are questionable at best. But let's just look at competency. Forget corruption. Competence. He's incompetent. All this has happened under his watch. He should go. In 2018, and it's on the Crypto Law website, there's a video of Gary Gensler while he was at MIT, and he states on stage in 2018, April 2018, that the crypto market needs clarity. Those are his words. He even said, Ray, that Ripple, the company Ripple, and Ethereum deserve clarity, and they need it. Now, that was 2018 when he was not chairman. We fast forward to today. He's chairman of the SEC, and he can do something about it, right? And what is his position? His position is that it's always been crystal clear, and that he's not going to create new rules. He's not going to change any laws or provide any more guidance, that the Howey case from 1946 and all the other things, case law, is enough clarity, and that these companies need to come in and register. He won't give guidance. So clearly, capital formation, let's ask this. In the BlockFi bankruptcy, Ray, do you know who the number 2 largest creditor is? I do not, John. Who is it? It's the SEC. Wow. All right, because there was $100 million settlement, remember, between BlockFi and Gary Gensler's SEC. BlockFi had paid $70 million of it. There's still $30 million owed to the SEC. So BlockFi's bankruptcy, our SEC is the second largest creditor that is above customer deposits. So how does that happen with capital formation? Are you helping companies' capital formation when you're the second largest creditor in a bankruptcy? It's absurd. That's what I meant by corruption and competence, a combination. So there's that.
And again, when we really kind of look at the SEC, we know that they dropped the ball very, very bad in the last couple weeks, months. You could even argue years, in the last 2 years, right? When we look at the SEC, we know what they're doing. We know their motive is to slow down crypto. They want to try to kill crypto. I focused on this many times. It's a narrative that I have probably sounded like a broken record around because, to me, there's no other way to put it, but it's just the fact that the SEC does not want crypto to succeed because the bankers, right? The bankers are the big focus point. The bankers don't want this market to succeed because a lot of the major focus point projects like, Ripple with XRP, is killing the monopoly game that these bankers are playing, collecting massive amounts of money off the backs of the retail sector. So when we focus on that and we look at what the SEC really is doing, first off, do I think that they need to be put in check by Congress? 100%. Do I think that they need to be defunded and abolished? 100%. Because we're still utilizing laws from the early 1900s to not only regulate but control a market and an industry that recently came out in the late 2000s. Think about how crazy that is, right? Imagine putting a law on something that launched 10 years ago and utilizing laws from the early 1900s to not only regulate it but control it. Think about how stupid that sounds. So when we really kind of look at what the SEC is doing, yes, they are 100% dropping the ball, and we even do see over here from Gary Gensler, SEC Chair. Gensler says crypto is the Wild West and most tokens will fall. Now, do I agree with this statement? I do think that there's a few things that I agree with on this. One, I do think that crypto needs proper regulations for it to continue to thrive and be massively adopted. But I also do believe that we will start to see a ton of tokens completely fall and disappear. Those are going to be the ones that don't have true utility. Those are going to be the ones that, shine complete garbage and nonsense to the retail sector to get them to FOMO in and buy, just so that the creators can dump on them. Those types of projects are gone. I do agree with that, but at the end of the day, we know that the SEC is not trying to say, yeah, let's have proper regulations, because if that was the case, they would have already created a regulatory framework around crypto and created new laws around crypto that could help it thrive and continue to grow. Instead, they want to say, there's already laws in place. There's already laws in place. There's already guidance in place. There's not. We all know that there's not. So, with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys do, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are on this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.